Welcome back to our statistics unit. Today we're going to be talking about box plots. Specifically, we're going to be talking about constructing box plots. So let's go ahead and take a look at some vocabulary terms now. So taking a look at our vocabulary terms, the middle of the data set is going to be known as the median. We have the data broken into 4 parts or quartiles. The upper quartile, also known as the third quartile, is going to be the median of the upper half of the data, and the lower quartile, also known as the first quartile, is going to be the median of the lower half of the data set. Now let's take a look at some other vocabulary terms. Now looking at some other vocabulary terms that we need to know, the largest or bigger number out of our data set is going to be known as the upper extreme. The smallest or least number out of the data set is going to be known as our lower extreme. The range of data between the upper quartile and the lower quartile is going to be called the interquartile range. And to find that interquartile range between the two quartiles, we're going to subtract the lower quartile from the upper quartile. So now let's go ahead and take a look at a box plot and label those vocabulary terms. So looking at our box plot here, we're going to label all of the parts. We're going to start with that part in the middle. That line in the middle of the box is going to represent our median. Then looking at the far side, that period or that dot all the way on the end is going to be our upper extreme. The dot on the other side will be the lower extreme. Then we're going to have to label our quartiles. So the one at the edge of the box towards the top is going to be our upper quartile, and the one at the edge of the box on the other side is going to be our lower quartile. So now that we've labeled all the parts of our box plot, let's go ahead and make one. So here in example A, it says Jessie kept track of the number of political flyers her parents received in the mail each week leading up to the local election. Her data displayed below, create a box plot from the data. So we can see that we've got weeks on the top here, we've got flyers down at the bottom, and the thing that we're going to care about only is the flyers. It doesn't matter which weeks we gathered each of these flyers, we're just collecting the data as a whole. So let's take a look at our workspace before we go back and forth between our plots to figure out some things that we need to know. So looking here at our workspace, the first thing that we need to do whenever we create a box plot is we have to put the data in order from least to greatest. So now let's use a little bit of magic. The good news is here that 1 through 12 or week 1 through 14 is already in order. So all we're going to do is slap that into numerical order or just drag it out. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 8, and 12. So now that we've got our data in numerical order, the first thing that we need to do is to find the median. So to find the median, we're going to be crossing off our data from both sides until we have one number left in the middle, or if we have an even number amount of numbers, we're going to have to figure out the two numbers in the middle and divide them, add them up and divide by 2 to find the mean. So crossing off from the outsides, we've got a 1, a 12, 8, 1, 2, 7, 2, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, and oh no, we have 2 numbers in the middle because we have an even number of data here as we have 14 weeks. So we're going to add our 5s together. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5, so our median number is going to be 5. So that's good to know. We're going to go ahead and use that for our box plot. The next thing that we need to do is figure out our upper quartiles and our lower quartiles. So we're going to start by cutting our data in half, so that we have our lower quartile on the left and our upper quartile on the right. So our lower quartile has 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, and 5. And again, to find the lower quartile, we're just going to use our process of finding a median by crossing things off. So we'll cross off our 1, our 5, our 1, our 3, our 2, and good news, because we only have 7 numbers here, we're going to have 1 number in the middle, so our 2 is going to be our lower quartile. Now we need to figure out our upper quartile. So to figure that out, we've got to write out those numbers. So our 5, 6, 6, 6, 7, 8, and 12. And again, we're going to use the same process of finding a median. So cross off our upper, lower, lower, upper, lower, upper. And again, because we have 7 numbers, we're going to have a number in the middle. So 6 is going to be our upper quartile. So now that we've figured out that, we just need to know our 2 extremes, which are going to be the biggest number and the smallest number in our data set. So the biggest number in our data set is going to be 12, so that's going to be our upper extreme, and then our smallest number in our data set is 1, so that's going to be our lower extreme. So now that we have all this data, let's go ahead and make our box plot. So jumping back to our box plot, we've got our data now. We know that our median is 5, so we're going to draw a line. Oh wait, we don't have any numbers on our number line. So we're going to have to label our number line before we can draw a box plot. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now that we have our numbers on our number line, now let's make a box plot. So we know that our middle number, or our median, is at 5. So we're going to draw a straight line down from our 5. We know that our upper quartile is 6, so we're going to draw a straight line down from our 6. And our lower quartile is 2, so we're going to draw a straight line down from our 2. Now that we've done that, we're going to connect all of our lines to make ourselves our box. Now we just need to label our extremes. So our first extreme is going to be at 12. So we're going to draw a dot at our 12, and we're going to draw a line all the way out to meet that dot. And then our lower extreme is 1. So the good news is there, we just have to make a little dot here at our 1 and draw a line out at our 1. And see, we've constructed a box plot where we know where our median is, our upper quartile, our lower quartile. So we've done a great job. Let's try it one more time with example B. So here at example B, David collects data on the height of his classmates and wants to construct a box plot from the data. Identify all of the data points from the box plot. So this is height in inches. So the first thing we're going to need to do is slide over to our workspace and start by putting our data in numerical order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that now. So here we are with our height in inches. So the first thing that we need to do is put this in order from least to greatest. So using the magic of the internet, we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. Boom. There it is, everything in order, 59 through 65. Again, you're going to have to put this in order yourself. You can't just depend on it just appearing for you when you're doing it on your own. So again, we're going to start by finding our median. So again, we're going to cross off from left to right, determine which one is in the middle. We don't know how much data we have here, so hopefully we figure out if it's just going to be one number or two. So we're going to cross off the ends, cross off the ends, cross off the ends, cross off, cross off, cross off, cross off. And we end up with just one number in the middle, which must mean we have an uneven amount of data. So 61 is going to be our median. So we know that 61 is our median. Now let's go ahead and make our lower quartile. We're not going to include the 61 that is in the median here. We have an odd number of numbers in our data set. So in order to make sure they maintain balance, we're going to have the same number on both sides of our quartile. So in that case, that appears to be the number is going to be 7 this time around. So our low quartile is going to be these numbers. Our upper quartile will be these numbers. Let's start with the lower quartile. Again, best practice is to rewrite the numbers so that you don't have any lines through your numbers, so that you don't make any mistakes or haven't figured out what you crossed out already. So we've got our 4 60s here in a row and then a 61. So now that I've got my numbers in order, I'm going to cross out from least to greatest on both sides. So 59, 61, 59, 60, 60, and 60, leaving just one number in the middle. So that 60 is going to be my lower quartile. Now let's head over and do the upper quartile. Again, writing out my numbers that I have here. So 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 3 times in a row. Now that I've got my numbers, let's go ahead and do some crossing out. So cross out from both ends until I have one number left in the middle. That number is 64. So that number is going to be my upper quartile. So now I just need my upper extreme and my lower extreme. So my upper extreme in this case, or the number that's going to be the biggest, is my 65. So that's going to be my upper extreme. And then 59 is my lower extreme because that is the smallest number. So now that I have all that data, let's go ahead and make a box plot. So hopping back to my box plot, again, I'm going to start with my median. I know in this case that my median was 61, so I'm going to draw a line down from my 61. Good news is here that this line is already labeled for us, so we didn't have to label our number line. Our lower extreme is going to be 60. Our upper extreme is going to be 64. So now that we have all of our lines, we're going to connect them together to make a sweet looking box. And then we need to just draw lines to our extremes. Our upper extreme is 65, so dot and line. And our lower extreme is 59, so dot and line. They're not as extreme as they are in the other graph, but there we go. We've made our box plot, which brings us to the end of these notes and brings us to the end of this video. So if you like this video, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. If you love this video, go ahead and throw us a sub, and we will catch you in the next one.